Hello, everyone. Good morning, good day, good evening. I hope you guys are okay. I hope you guys are doing fine. Welcome to another video of Teaching Jappy. Today, we're gonna be solving an exam of mine I gave to my students about physics or on physics, about the topics of units and measurement, vectors, statics, kinematics, and uniform circular motion and work, power, energy. So I hope you guys don't hear the birds in the background, but let's go. Let's solve. Alright. So this exam is part multiple choice, part problem solving. We're gonna be doing the multiple choice first. Are we prepared? Do you guys see the calculator? Okay, let's go. So, a branch of mechanics which studies the effects and distribution of forces of rigid bodies which are and remain at rest, that will be statics, statics at rest, If it's moving, probably dynamics. If it's moving, probably kinematics. Okay. Dynamics is a whole branch, right? You are in a race. Each of the choice is a length that corresponds how far you should go, which is the farthest. Right? So I think we need to convert each, right? So let's just convert each to miles. Or probably let's do feet, right? So 1 nautical mile, conversion that is 6,080 feet, right? So 1 nautical mile, so that's 6,080 feet. Okay. 2,040 yards, 3 feet 1 yard, right? So that's probably 6,120 feet. So letter D is much bigger, right? 1.2 miles. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Right? Feet per mile. So what is that? What is that like? 6336. Bigger? Huh? Bigger? Did we do it correctly? Yeah. Then 1,800 meter divided by 0.3048 meter 1 feet, or 3.2801, right? So 1,800 times 3.2808, or it's 1, right? 5,905. So letter B is the answer. It's the biggest, right? You are in a race. Each of the choice is a quantity that's proportional how far you should go, which is the farthest. But this time it's mass. So probably which is the largest also. This one is 2,000 grams. This one is 2,205 grams. No, wrong. It's wrong. So 1 pound. 1 pound is 2.205 pound 1 kilogram. So it's probably 453.6 grams, right? Or 1 divided by 2.205, 453.51 or 51. Okay? So around 450 grams. This one is 25 times 10 to the negative 7 megagram. We're gonna convert that to grams. So that's 1 megagram is 10 to the 6 gram. So that's gonna be 2.5 grams. A lot smaller than 2,000 grams. 18 times 10 to the 10th nanogram times 1 10 to the 9th nanogram is 1 gram, right? So that's gonna become 180 gram. So our largest value is A, 2 kilogram. You are in a race. Each of the choices is a quantity that's proportional how far you should go, which is the farthest, right? So again, we're determining which one is the highest in value, right? So I'm gonna convert this probably into, let's do feet. Yeah, let's go feet. Inches. Let's do feet. I, so 10 meters per second. Let's convert that to feet, right? So 1 meter is 3.2808 or 32.81 feet per second, which is better than 20 feet per second. 100 inches divided by 12. So 120 is probably 10, right? And 108 is 9. And 96 inches is 8 feet, right? So that's probably around 8 point something, 8.33 feet per second, which is still smaller than 32 feet. 300 meters per minute divided by, so minute is on the denominator. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. 300 divided by 60 is 5 meters per second, which is smaller than 10 meters per second. So the largest among the three is letter A, 10 meters per second. Which of the following is the best example of scientific evidence? Results of a trial, instructions by a judge to a jury as to what information they may use, the verdict of the jury in a civil trial, testimony of a police. So the testimony is probably hearsay or whatever the statement. It could be others like a factor of a human bias. Verdict also. Instruction by a judge, probably, yeah. The results of a trial described by in an encyclopedia, because it is already what happened. It is a part of history that could be a scientific evidence. A scientific evidence. If the distance between the centers of two objects is half, the gravitational force between them is. So remember that the gravitational force is G m1 m2 over d squared. The distance is half, so meaning it become 1/2 squared, right? So we're gonna square 1/2. That will become 1/4 d squared, right? The square is already outside, so the 4, because it is inside, it's in the denominator. This will become 4g m1 m2 over d squared, right? So it's gonna become increased by a factor of 4. Okay. Dimensional analysis. We solve the factor by substituting what happened to the distance, which it becomes half. Okay. Which of the following is an example of scalar quantity? Doesn't have direction. Time? No. Stepping on the beach, 2 steps at a time. No. Work done. So do we have we have a direction going to the beach. Work done by a force. It's force. An arm twisting on a screwdriver. It's rotational motion. So A, 3 hours cooking time. A bridge is supported by both ends, hinge A and B. A track coming from A slowly moving towards B. If this is A and this is B, so when the track is on the left side, all the weight is in here and the reaction is probably greater in A. But when it comes going to B, the reaction on A becomes smaller while the reaction on B gets bigger. So the answer is D. The forces on B slowly increasing while A decreases, right? A ceiling fan is hanging from a hook. What force counteracts gravity? So, counteracts gravity, if this is the ceiling fan, this is the hook. Let's draw a hook. Then the ceiling fan is somewhere here, right? Doing wind energy, right? Or making wind, right? So, probably, if this is the weight, okay, what counteracts gravity is tension. Not centripetal, tension. Okay. Next. Oh, I written down. Sakuragi wishes to shoot a ball to a basket due north. Right? This is north. He runs toward it, got blocked by So this is Sakuragi. He got blocked by Rukawa. He stepped leftward. And he runs turn 45 degrees counterclockwise. So he turns 45 degrees counterclockwise. So this is the 45 degrees. He went this way, got blocked by Gori and got scared. He turned to the left, to his left, and proceed in that direction. He turned to his left and proceed on that direction. What direction is he facing last? Okay, so this is north, this is west. Left, north, south. Oh, this is not there's no southeast or there's no west, right? So this is south, right? So if that's the left, can we have east as is left? No, I don't think we can have east as is left. So the answer is E. The answer is E, none of the above. The answer should be 45 degrees southwest, because this is west. Left is, if we're talking about the compass, left is north is, well, forward, west is leftward, east is rightward. So it should be southwest. Okay. We have a letter E on the choices. Okay. I'm just gonna check the direction. Okay, so I checked the direction. There's a direction that if the answer is not in the choices, and if you think the answer is E, we should shade the letter E, and the answer is 45 degrees southwest. Okay. Hi, for anyone who got this, I hope you guys are, good job. It's southwest. Leftward is southwest. We turn to the left, so that's southwest. Okay. Anyways, let's proceed with 16. We're 17 and 18. Okay, here's one. Which letter shows the system can be in dynamic equilibrium? So dynamic equilibrium means that there is no acceleration, but the object is moving. Statics means there's no acceleration and the object is not moving. So there's no acceleration, but the object is moving. We have an acceleration here, deceleration here, acceleration here, deceleration here, no acceleration. So the answer is A. Sakuragi, once again, is facing north initially. Every between letters starting from A, B, he start as follows, right? So from how many changes every between letters? 1, 2, 3, 4. So hit north, he turns left from AB. Then he turns right to BC. Right? Then he turns left from CD. Then he turns right on the DE. Right? So what is he now? He is facing north, going backward, because we have a negative velocity here. We have zero velocity right here, but on letter E, he is going backward. Alright, which one would be most likely be? Which one is most likely be true? Sakuragi can turn back time. Sakuragi stopped running twice. Sakuragi stopped running 4 times. So once he start running, he he accelerated, then decelerated. He stopped running at 0 velocity. Now he's running backward. He's running still backward. Then acceleration, he stopped running. Then still runs backward, and no acceleration, constantly still running backward. So he stopped running twice. Considering each phase, which phase would Sakuragi be exerting the least acceleration? So the answer is B. It's E, because it has the lowest acceleration. 0? No. This one. Yeah. because he exerted the most slope, right? This one. Right. So it's C. There. Given the diagram, okay, a student asked me this also. Mathematically, because he is decelerating, negative value is lesser than a zero value. So, in order to not cause confusion, mathematically, B will have the least deceleration because it has a negative acceleration. You're slowing down. Okay? But then again, least acceleration being zero. Okay, anyway. Letter E. Yeah, I would check letter. But mathematically, I would check E, right? Just for those who are confusing or being confused. But deceleration, having the least acceleration is having negative value. Okay? I don't know what's causing the confusion. Given the diagram below, a bullet shot horizontally by a man and a ball released from the same height and time which one is most likely happen. Because they are at the same height, so same height is the same. Release at the same time is the same. Velocity is not the same, right? It's not the same for bullet and ball. But in terms of y-axis, the Vy is the same. The Vx is not the same. So meaning, if we're talking just how it will hit the ground, it will be hitting the ground at the same time. Alright. What speed would a 7.9 kilogram satellite orbit if it were 1700 kilometers above the Earth's surface? Okay. So let's say this is the Earth, 1700 kilometers, and this is the satellite, right? And we're talking about the velocity of its orbit, right? So probably we're talking about the centripetal force against the gravitational force, which is mv squared over r is equal to g m1 m2 over r squared. I'm gonna cancel r. I'm gonna cancel m1. And we're talking about velocity, so we're gonna be square root of g, the mass of the Earth, which means 6 times 10 to the 24. Then the radius is 6,400 plus 1,700 times 1,000, right? Ooh. Times 1,000. What will be the velocity? Oops, sorry. G is 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11 times 6 times 10 to the 24 divided by 8,100 times 1,000. 7,029 meters per second, or letter A. Okay, suppose Sakuragi and Haruko are playing on a seesaw. It is said that Sakuragi is 5/3 heavy as Haruko. If there were to be an equilibrium, where should Sakuragi be sitting? We're in a seesaw. Haruko is at the edge, right? This was Haruko. Considering this, let's say this is 1 meter, 1 kilogram, and Sakuragi is 5/3 and x what distance, right? Momentum balance, the leftward forces should be equal to the rightward forces. So 1 times 1 is equal to x times 5/3, right? 1 times 3 over 5 is equal to x, or 0.6. And we're talking about, let's say we took the momentum balance or the moment balance at the center, right? We took our moment or moment of rotation at the center, right? Let's do it carefully, right? Let's take a moment at let's say this is our object. We have our moment here at the center, let's say M. Haruko is at the left. Let's say he is 1 kilogram and 1 length, right? Then Sakuragi is 5/3 the weight of Haruko. So somewhere here, 5/3, right? And this is the distance x. So if we have our moment at the center, moment M, Haruko will have 1 kilogram times 1 length, while Sakuragi is negative x 5/3. And equals 0 because it's balance. You need to be balanced to play the seesaw, right? So move the x to the opposite side. This will become x 5/3 is equal to 1. X is equal to 3/5 or 0.6. So that's the distance from the center. So if it's from the edge, it's 0.4 from the edge. Okay? It's from the edge. Next. Which of the following is the most likely energy flow diagram for the electric lightning in one's phone? Chemical to electrical to light energy. We don't have a phone that is solar. I don't think so. Okay. Nuclear. A phone doesn't have nuclear energy. Light energy to electrical. No, we need to have the electric from battery to light. So it's not light to anything. Plus we don't have pressure energy. So the answer is D. A man carrying a suitcase at a specific height is walking horizontally at constant speed towards the elevator. What would you say true is for the suitcase? So, a man walking horizontally, right, at constant speed. What would you say is true? Carrying a suitcase at a specific height. So, specific height, nothing's happening. What do you say true for this? The man is exerting work on the suitcase. The suitcase is exerting work on that man. The suitcase is expending its own energy to move. No, probably not. Okay, the man is lazy. No work is done on the suitcase. Letter D. Because there is no acceleration, there's no force happening, then there's no work. Okay? Just like that. Water stored in a dam released and flows through a turbine, generating electricity. Which energy transformation occurs in the process? So, in a dam, when you say a water, probably a wheel, that's kinetic to electrical. But there's a dam, you put a dam in a waterfall, right? Usually dams are made in waterfalls. So meaning you're converting potential to kinetic to electrical, right? Kinetic to electrical if it's on the river, but there's no potential. We're talking about there's electric to thermal to mechanical. We're talking about the turbine, so it's not anymore. Plus it says generating electricity, so it's not electrical to thermal to mechanical. Thermal to electrical to chemical. No, there's no chemical in a turbine. Okay. A machine has an input of 500 watts and an output of 350. So let's say we exerted 500 watts energy and we have 350 watts of energy outside. What does this indicate? The machine excretes extra energy and fully functional? No, you lost energy. The machine 100% efficient? No, you lost energy. Some energy is delayed to transform due to real world factors. No, it will not be 150 later. The energy is transformed to other energy. The energy is transformed to other energy, probably thermal, probably friction losses. Yeah, the energy cannot be delayed unless it has battery inside, but other than that, I don't think so. Okay, so the answer is letter D. No. Ay, so that's that. How many minutes have we been using? I hope you guys are chilling there and got the major of the answers in our multiple choice. Let's proceed with our problem solving. Let's proceed with problem solving number 1. It's the end of the world, and water is very scarce and limited. One time you were traveling on a deserted city, deserted, very sweet, looking for resources to feed your community of 10,000 person. Community of 10,000 persons. You found a clean water spring. If a person requires 45 gallons of water a week. So, a person requires 45 gallons a week, right? So, that's a pretty needy person. Probably washing dishes, watering the plants, or cleaning the dog, or everything. You know, in an apocalypse, you need to clean your dogs. Probably. If you were to supply your community water needs for a month, yeah, so you're gonna be supplying for a month. Okay, we're gonna be assuming the minimum. Oh, no, it says that 30 days. So, a week is 7 days, and a month is 30 days. It says 30 days here. So, we're gonna be using 30 days instead of, a month, 4 weeks, right? Not like that, right? So, if you were to supply community water needs for a month with a cylindrical water tank. So, you have a water tank truck with 2 feet radius and 12 feet long length, right? Now, it takes for you to 1 hour to fill the tank and 1 hour to go to the spring, right? Probably also going back, right? It takes you 1 hour to go back. Meaning, in a day, you would probably need 3 hours to 3 hours minimum, because we did not take into account, there's nothing there saying that you have to unfill it 1 hour, right? So if you are going to fill it 1 hour, you need to unfill it 1 hour probably, but we're gonna be using the least hours. So 3 hours, meaning in 1 day we got 24 hours, meaning in 1 day we get like 8 times filling the trunk, no? Filling truck. Meaning in 30 days we get like 240 times filling the truck. Right? 30 times 8 is 240. 240 times filling the truck. Okay? So, let's first, what do we need? Right? What do we need? We have 45 gallons per week, per person. Let's multiply that by 10,000. Then, divide that by, multiply that by 7. 1 week. 1 week is 7 days. So, divide that by 7. Then, 30 days, 1 month. Okay. Okay, so what's that like? 45 times 10,000 divide by 7 times 30. 192,8571. 192,8571.429 gallons a month. So that's what the whole community need. So you have 1 truck. You have 1 truck. So if you only have 1 truck, let's convert this to, let's get the volume of the truck first. So you have a cylindrical truck, so pi r square h, pi times 2 square times 12. 12 times 4 is 48 pi feet cube, right? Per fill, right? So that's 1 fill. But you have 200 in 1 month, you can do 240 times, right? So let's convert 48 pi feet cube, right, times 3.2808 feet 1 meter cube, right? Then 1,000 liter, 1 meter cube conversion, then 3.785 liters, 1 gallon. Okay? Then we multiply that 240 times. Because that's how many water do we need, or how many times we get to fill the truck in 1 month. 48 times pi divided by 3.2808 cube times 1,000 divided by 3.785. So 1,128 or 1,129 times 240. 270,767. Well, that's a lot. 207,767. 0.914. Is it bigger? Probably. Wait. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Okay. Gallon for it. It's not. So it's a lot smaller than 1.928571 million gallons. So yeah, it's a lot smaller. So the answer is no. How many? So what's the other question? Do you have enough time in a month? No. How much time do you need? So if we're gonna be supplying that, right? 71.429, right? Right? Divided by 277.67. So remember, this is gallons needed, right? This is gallons per month we supply. So 192,857.1.429 divided by 270. 198,571.429 divided by 277.67. 7.1226, or so that's how many months? 1226. 1226 months, or 1.1226 months more to supply the 1 month needs, right? So the answer is no. Okay. Or you could answer, well, the question is how much time do you need? So you could answer in hours, you could answer in days. 6 months is probably the smallest value. You could answer also in half a year, probably. 6 months, half a year, 12 months is 1 year, right? So you could answer it. It's the question is about time. How much time do you need? Probably you could also answer in trucks, but if we have trucks, right? Anyways, I mean, if the question is how many trucks do we need? Okay, so that's the next Let's go next problem. Let's go to the next problem. That's the answer for our first problem. This next problem, the previous problem, probably I will rate that as moderate problem. Okay, this one is a vector problem. Let's write it down. Let's check first, right? Because this has a horizontal line. This is 90, 30 plus 60. This is probably 90 degrees, right? So we can write this of the x component as 0 is equal to 30, right? Positive minus p cosine 30 minus 40 cosine 45 positive f cosine 60. Okay. Alright. Next, for the y, let's simplify this first. So f cosine 60 negative p cosine 30 equals to negative 30 plus 40 cosine 45. We transpose the other values to the opposite side. Okay. The next is the summation of y. So we're talking about y. 0 is equal to 20 plus p sine 30 minus 40 sine 45 minus f sine 60. Move to the opposite side. Right, negative f sine 60 plus p sine 30 is equal to negative 20 plus 40 sine 45. Okay, that's our two equations, two unknown. We could use calculator technique. Then again, you could also use elimination method, substitution method, calculator technique, mode, equation, 1. Right, 1. There's 1 there. So we put cosine 60, negative cosine 30, then negative 30 plus 40 cosine 45, then sine 60, negative. Okay, don't always check the sign. Sine 30, negative 20 plus 40 sine 45. Okay, so the answer will be x negative 12.6330, negative 12.6330, negative 5.3125. Y is equal to negative 5.3125. What's the unit? Kilo Newton. Okay, F or P. Okay, there we go. So that's the answer for number 2. Let's proceed with number 3. For number 3, this looks like a moment problem. Let's see. A moment, determining the moment or the torque. Two weightless bars pinned together are shown in figure below. A load of 35 kilonewton. Determine the forces P and F acting respectively along bars. This is AB, P, and AC. So this is not a moment problem. This is just a normal vector problem. Let's do an FBD. So let's say FBD at point A. Right, so that's 35 kilonewton. Then P, then it's F. The thing is, we don't know the angle, but we do know that your F is 4/5 and your P is 6/4. Okay, and the hypotenuse for this one is probably 6 square plus 4 square is 36 plus 16 is 52. Then this one is square root of 4 square plus 5 square. 16 plus 25 is 41. The square root of 41. Alright, so when we do the component method, summation of x, right? Or let's do x component, right? X component, y component. Because they're both tracing to the first, this one is negative 35, 0. Then let's do P first. P, right? For the x components, it's opposite, adjacent over hypotenuse. No, right? Opposite over hypotenuse. For the F, it's adjacent over hypotenuse. 5 over square root of 52. 4 over square root of, not 54, 41. 41. Okay, then equals 0 because it's supporting the beam. Okay, we could do calculator technique again, or we could do substitution method or elimination method. Let's try another method. Probably let's do substitution method. Okay, because the x component is 0 plus p4 over square root of 52 plus f5 over square root of 41 is equal to 0. Transpose to the opposite side, p is equal to f negative 5 over square root of 41 times square root of 52 over 4. Okay, that is p. Now let's do to the y component, the summation of y, p 6 over square root of 54 plus f4 over square root of 41 is equal to 35. Right, let's transpose 35 to the opposite side. Then we have p, right? And then if p is this one, we can substitute p here. So this become, we can substitute p at the top to the bottom one, vice versa. Right? So meaning that's gonna become negative f 5 square root of 41. That's not 54, that's 52. Right? That's not 54, that's 52. That's 52. Right? 5 square root of 41 times square root of 52 over 4 times 6 over square root of 52. Cancel square root of 52 plus f4 square root of 41 is equal to 35. Meaning f is equal to 35 multiplied to square root of 41 times 4 divided by 5 divided by 6. What is f? Oh, wait, wrong. Wait, chotomate. There's a positive. No. Uh, it's wrong. Let's not make it too fast. Okay, 35. Okay. Because we have two terms, negative f and positive f, let's just do this, right? So 5 divided by 4 multiplied by 6 square divided by square root of 41 negative plus 4 over square root of 41. And that's all under 35. Right? Because we have an f here, positive f, we have a negative f here. Okay, so 35 divided by 5 times 6 divided by 4 divided by square root of 41, and that's all negative plus 4 divided by square root of 41. So what's that? 64.0312, negative 64.0312 kilonewton. That's F, while for P, negative 64.0312, and double negative 5 over square root of 41 times square root of 52 over 4. Wow, our handwriting is very beautiful. Sorry. That's 52. So 64.0312 times 5 divided by 4 times square root of 52 divided by square root of 41. 90.1387. Now, to double check whether our answer is correct, let's do two equations to unknown, right? So for 5 equation 1, we got 4 divided by square root of 52. Then 5 divided by square root of 41. Then 0. Then 6 divided by square root of 52. Then 4 divided by square root of 41. Then 35. 90 and negative 0.64. So that's correct. That's correct. Right? That's the answer for number 3. Let's proceed to number 4. That is an easy problem. It's just that's a simple vector problem. 2 equations to unknown again. Yeah. Okay. Sakuragi is playing basketball by himself. He throws his ball from outside the free throw line as shown. The distance between the hoop and the point where the ball leaves the player. So let's say this is the ball is 9.2 meter. The hoop is a height of 3.1. So this is 3.1 meter. And shot is ball 1 meter lower than the hoop. So this one is 1.1 meter. Okay. Lower than the hoop above the court, it takes 1.6 seconds from release the ball to hit the net. Right? It takes, so this is like the X, this is like the Y, and this is like the time, 1.6. What would be the initial angle of the throw? How about let's just do Vx is equal to, right, V cosine theta, right? Vy is equal to V sine theta. So for now, S is equal to Vx time. S is 9.2 meters is equal to Vx times 1.6. So 9.2 divided by 1.6 is the Vx, which is 9.2. Because we're talking about the horizontal motion only, divided by 1.6. 5.75 meters per second. So that's the Vx. For y, let's just do height is equal to Vy t minus 1/2 9.81 t squared, right? So 1.1 is equal to Vy 1.6 minus 4.905 1.6 squared. So Vy is equal to 1.1 plus 4.905 1.6 squared divided by 1.6 is equal to divided by 1.6 8.5355 8.5355. Is that the angle? No. But we can get the angle by arc tangent 8.5355 divided by 5.75. So that's what, like arc tangent 8.5355 divided by 56.0335 56.0335 degrees. Alright, so that's the angle of the throw. Angle of the throw. Okay. That's one. Another, probably easy to moderate because you have to compute for x and y, but then again it's pretty simple. You just have to put in the diagram and substitute it in the values. It's pretty simple. Okay, next. What's out? You guys didn't see that. Alright, next. 5. This one is probably a lot harder. Okay. A ball is fastened to one end of a 20. Okay. So a ball is fastened to one end of a 24 centimeter string. Okay. Then there is held fixed at point Q. The ball whirls in a horizontal circle. So it makes a horizontal circle, making a 30 degree angle at the horizontal axis. Right? So this one. So it's like spinning around. Find the speed of the ball in its circular path. So let's say this is your ball, right? 30 degrees. What are the forces acting on it? We have the weight, we have the tension, we have the centripetal force. Okay, so FBD. So this is the FC, this is tension, and this is weight, right? And that is 60 degrees. Okay. Okay. So what do we need? Speed. So we have the velocity of, where do we find the velocity? At FC. Okay. Anyways, for the x component, so it's negative FC, right? T cosine 60 is equal to 0. Y component is negative W T sine 60 equal to 0, right? We want FC, so FC is equal to T cosine 60, and W is equal to T sine 60, right? So W is the mass of the ball times gravity is equal to T divided by sine 60. Substitute that here. So your FC is equal to mass of the ball times gravity divided by sine 60 multiplied to cosine 60. And FC, or centripetal force, is mass of the ball times velocity squared over the radius, which is the radius of your horizontal is, what's this one, right? If this is 24 centimeter, the hypotenuse, that's like sine 30, is equal to the radius over 24 centimeter. So radius is 24 sine 30. Right? Right? Alright, sine 30. So meaning, cancel mass. G cosine 60 over sine 60. Cancel mass because both equations have mass. Then V square is equal to 24 sine 30 times gravity times cosine 60 divided by sine 60, square root both sides. What will be the velocity? So 24 sine 60 times 9.81. Oh, that's not sine 60, it's 30. It's 30. Yeah, it's 30. It's 30. This one, 24 sine 30. Times 9.81 times cosine 60 divided by sine 60. 8.2441 meters per second. That will be the velocity of the ball to keep spinning on a horizontal circular path. Okay, that will be the velocity of the ball. Okay, next is Matthew starts from rest on top of an 8.45 sledding hill. He slides down. So he slides down across the plateau space. The coefficient of friction between the sled is 0.128, both the hill and the plateau. Matthew and the sled have a combined mass of 27.5 kg. Determine the distance which Matthew will slide along the level surface before coming to a complete stop. Okay, so this is like the hill, 8.45 meter, 32 degrees, right? And this one has a coefficient of friction of 0.128. This one is 0.128, right? So this one is the friction, this one is the friction. Okay, but we have two different friction. This one, let's first get the distance, right? So hypotenuse, right? So sine 32 is equal to 8.45 divided by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 8.45 sine 32. So this is the distance of the sled. So if we're talking about potential energy, 27.5 times 9.81 times 8.45. That's the potential energy that the sled will have and shall be taken out by friction. The two friction, the one on the slope, one on the horizontal surface, right? So first off, the distance of the friction times distance, right? So the distance of the friction on the slope is 8.45 times sine 32. And what we're looking for at the second one is the x, or the distance where he will stop after going down the hill. But the question is, what will be the friction? Okay? Because we're slowing down, right? There's a friction here on the slope, right? There's a normal force and there's a weight, right? 27.5 kilogram times 9.81 times 9.81. How do we get friction or normal force? So first off, how about let's twist this. Oh, this is 32 degrees, right? So let FBD. So friction is 32 degrees. This one is 58 degrees normal force. This one is weight. So meaning 27.5 times 9.81 is equal to friction sine 32 plus NF cosine sine 58. Sine 58. 2 plus 58, 60 plus 30 is 90, right? So that is the y component. Then again, 27.5 times 9.81 is equal to 0.128 NF sine 32 plus NF sine 58. Right? Then NF, what could be NF? NF is 27.5 times 9.81 divided by 0.128 sine 32 plus sine 50. So what is NF? 27.5 times 9.81 divided by 0.128 sine 32 plus sine 58. 294.5535. 294.5535. That's Newton. That's NF. So F is 0.128 times NN. Or times 0.128. 37.7028. 37.7. So that will be 37.7. Okay, that's gonna be the friction on the slope. Alright, next. I think that's correct. So checking if we have equation correct. Let's double check. 27.5 times 9.81 divided by 0.128. 128 sine 32 plus sine 50. Alright, next is friction on the horizontal surface is gonna become NF. Is gonna become weight. So meaning friction is just weight, right? So friction here is just weight of the box, which is 27.5 times 27.5 just weight of the box. Sorry. Sorry. So 27.5 times 9.8. So 0.128 times 27.5 times 9. So that's we have x. So what is x? X is equal to 27.5 times 9.81 times 8.45 minus 8.45 divided by sine 32 times 37.7028 divided by 0.128 times 27.5 times 9.81. What is x? Okay, 27.5 times 9.81 times 8.45 minus 8.45 times 27.7028 divided by not hyperbolic sine 32, then 0.128 times 27.27 times 27. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Again. Sorry. Divided by 0.128 divided by 27.5 divided by 9. 48.60 52. Double check. Double check. I think I did my math correctly. So that's the weight. That's the weight. 0.128 since sine 32 and f sine 54. 294.5535. I'm just gonna double check. 27.5 times 9.81 times 8. Then 0.128 times 97.5. That's correct. 48.60 52 meters. That's the answer in number 6. Is that the last one? That's the last one. Okay, so yeah, that's the last one. I hope you got all. I hope you got all of the answers correct. And yeah, that will be the answers in on our exam. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, see you guys next time. And bye bye.